The whole thing started a few decades ago when a rogue nation launched a genetic bioweapon. Not long after, another country retaliated with a thermonuclear warhead. The war went on for years. Millions of people all over the world died, and the ones who lived have no interest in space or the stars. Nothing was left but the junk and the dead.
Welcome, sir! And congratulations, you're our 2,500,000th customer! I powered on 2 days ago at 9 a.m. It's the first time I've operated in 8,601 hours.
I have no idea why I'm even doing this. Boredom, maybe? A change of pace? I guess I've got nothing better to do.
It's man's nature to seek the unknown, to set his sights beyond the proposed limits, to strive for the impossible. It's his birthright to shatter expectations and turn failures into opportunities. Now, without further ado, allow me to introduce the true star of our show, the one who makes this presentation possible. Let's welcome her with a warm round of applause. Come visit our majestic planetarium, the sparkling, eternal heavens whose beauty will never fade, no matter what. I am honored to have been your host today. I hope you'll come visit us again very soon.
Hello. It's April 1st, 2026, and that means two things. Are we back? Ask Me Again this summer, and it's also time for Restoring Darkness, and we are doing a special release brought to you by Hobby Link Japan. Visit hlj.com for all your collectible, cosplay, model kit, and otherwise, and just general Japanese cool stuff needs. The link is in the description that lets you know I sent you. Otherwise, let's get into our special release because we are talking about Planetarian. This is a 5-episode direct-to-streaming anime based on a 2004 non-interactive visual novel from Key, developers of Canon and Air, the OGs of Sad Girls in Snow. This was made in 2016, streamed on Nico Nico from David Productions. It was directed by Naokatsu Suda, now famous for his work on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, but at the time, he had really only just done Inu X Boku Secret Service. He also co-wrote these 5 episodes with Shogo Yasukawa, known for his work on Food Wars, and also a bunch of episodes of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, as it seems to be. And the story takes place in the future, nebulous near future, after an unclear apocalypse that involved bioweapons that have rendered the Earth completely covered in cloud and constant precipitation, and killer robots patrol empty cities for no real reason. And we follow a character, a nameless man who just calls himself a junker, as he tries to raid a unnamed Japanese city for stuff. He's scavenging. He's junking. He's looking for ammo, booze, food, useful parts, whatever. And he is on the run from some anti-personnel robots and finds himself in an abandoned mall. And at the top of this mall is a planetarium. And the keeper of this planetarium is a cute robot girl who has not realized that the world ended a while back. She's still running on the same old script and still inviting people who aren't there to go to the light show at the planetarium on the top of this mall. And she offers our hero a free pass because she's the first person she's seen in decades. And, well, the junker agrees, despite the robot girl being annoying, because, well, it's out of the rain, and he can take a nap. And it turns out the planetarium doesn't really work, because it's 30 years of post-apocalyptia has happened. And so he, against his better judgment, or just to make this robot girl shut up, he fixes the projector and powers the whole place up and enjoys the light show. She tells the story of the mythology behind a bunch of constellation names. And even after the power goes out, he lets the robot finish her story, and he just enjoys it. He slowly warms up because, again, it's a 2000s visual novel about a cute robot girl, so he slowly comes to warm up and love her or whatever. And eventually he tries to convince her that, okay, no one's coming back. I'm just going to walk you back to where I live, and maybe we can do something with you. Maybe you can keep telling your stories about constellations anyhow. And they stroll through the neighborhood. He manages to actually steal a bottle of scotch, and then they are attacked by a tank. And he breaks his leg. She takes a bunch of heavy machine gun rounds to save him afterwards. And she, projects her memories for him. And he takes her hard drive with him at the end of it. And it's cute. It's fun. It's not bad. It depends on your tolerance for mid-2000s moe blobs, especially in, say, 2016 or 2026. But as much as your mileage may vary for, sad one-sided romances, I think what struck me about this is changing the meaning of scavenging. This idea that in the post-apocalypse, what we remember from before matters. And yeah, what we remember can be ammo, food, and booze, but it can also be what the night sky looked like, what normal human interaction looked like. And then they made this into a movie, and that's actually the brilliant part. A 5-episode miniseries cuts into a movie real easy. You just chop the opening and end credits off and you stick them together, right? Like pretty easy to do. But what they do is add 20 more minutes, bring it to about 2-hour runtime, that is set decades later as the Junker is now wandering between towns with a pup tent and a small projector, showing the same slideshow, showing the same planetarium show, and inspiring children who have never known life outside of the grim post-apocalyptic weirdness, and inspires them to appreciate something they've never seen. And I watched this kind of on a lark. I saw another reviewer bring it up, and I watched the series, and it was fine on his recommendation. And then I watched the movie, and that's when it really hit me. Is like, yeah, the movie adds a scene where this older Junker is reunited with the robot girl in heaven, but it's really about what we share with people as things go on. And we live in a world where, look, we're gonna lose the night sky. I hate to be a pessimist, but we're gonna lose it. Not just to sky glow. We can fix sky glow. I think we're on track to fixing that, but we're going to allow low orbit to be commercialized with millions of satellites, and that's going to take our view from us, whether it's just in the streaks of constellations that we're inventing for 5G connections and useless data centers, or it's, an actual catastrophe, an actual Kessler shock moment where all of these bits of debris crash into each other and we never get to go leave orbit again. But we have to decide what we owe future generations in terms of what it was. We have to figure out a way to communicate not just that we had something, but that it was wonderful. I've been Scott Wachter. This has been an April Fool's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I want to thank you for your time and your attention. Maybe I'm just a rambling, stupid robot girl in my own way, on this show. But Restoring Darkness will return, and we'll have something to say about what we owe younger people and what we owe each other when it comes to the night sky. See ya.